Right, right. We were here. And they just had their little sex moment where they were trying to beat off the effects of the hum. This is such a fucking cute picture. I love it. Um, these beds look way too fucking small for grown ass men, but whatever. uh, reason it's taken so long to get back to this is because my classes started again. They started Well, I started again last month, and I've been busy with that. And also, I've been watching Game of Thrones with my sister because it's her first, like, I wanted to watch it with her because it's her first time. And yeah, I mean, we just finished season 4 last night, so we're getting into the bad seasons now, and that's gonna be fun, I guess. Anyway, back into the world of Echo, I suppose. I half expect to see Cynthia or Madame Dora looking in my face, but I wake up to an empty room, and all of last night's memories come back to me. I push the crumpled sheets off me and rub my face. Then I stretch in someone in the living room of the apartment. Oh, okay, his pants on. Good. Um, Ralph is sitting at the table, scooping spoonfuls of oatmeal into his mouth. Where'd Murdoch go? Church. I didn't know it was God-fearing. He isn't. Side note. And you're not there because I'm a man of science, and sleeping in on Sunday is too good. Why don't your bosses make you go? He laughs. Because they don't care about my mortal soul. I'm not family. I really wouldn't want their family to care about me. That's the ticket. But you know that the real problem is he cares about them, right? Why? I can't pretend to know. My immediate relatives have all been dead for a long time. Mine could be too. Might as well be. Rat shrugs. Can't say I'm envious based on how small town families treat one another. Isn't Echo more of a small city than a town? Not where I'm from, it isn't. I suppose that explains why I picked that memory last night. My tongue was too loose. If you were going to hear that, it should have been from him. Well, you said you're going to share yours as penis. But we got interrupted and all. It's a spill. Mine isn't particularly traumatic. It's more of a culmination of dull disappointments and slipping opportunities. That alone can be traumatic, though, Ralph. The fact that you've wasted your only chance to do something that you wanted to do and that you can never do, that can be really traumatic as well. Maybe not like as traumatic as losing your fucking brother, but whatever. You get the point. He rises from the table and walks over to the corner of the room. He pulls the cover off of a dingy looking piano. My mother used to make me practice classics every day. I hated it, but fortunately I got quite good, which meant more piano. But when Murdoch showed me his skill with string instruments and taught me about jazz, it didn't feel like a chore anymore. We used to joke that we would terrorize the world if we got famous. But it became clear to me after a while that music was just a distraction for him. I consider it far more important. Music can clarify how to spend the time that you're given in life. Let me play you a little ditty. It's rather important to people from my country. You might have heard it. Nah, really, but it sounds nice. It's a ghost story about a man who chose to take his life over being a prisoner, who did what he could to survive and be free until he couldn't. I often ask myself how far I could go to make myself free. Very far, it turns out. But I can't say it's the same for Murdoch. If he eventually chooses to stay here forever, our paths will have to fork, and I will do what I must leave. I am sure by now that you feel the same way. He gingerly closes the piano case, leaning his elbow on it and turning to look. Maybe you'll find a way to convince him to leave too. I'm not the persuasive type. I don't think that's true. Give him a look for that. You just proved my point. I meant that I think he loves you. Love's a strong word. We barely know one another. Ralph shrugs. Even if it's a crush that fizzles out, I hope you treat him better than the other people he loves. Lots of people fall in love with their whores. That don't make him special. Pinches the bridge of his nose. I know that, and so does he. But even if you planned on whoring forever, I hope you're bright enough to know that doing it here is a death wish. So if the two of you end up depending on one another more than you think you should, an escape plan would be shrewd. Unless the two of you really want to rot in this prison. Couldn't be me. My face stretched into a scowl. I'll think about it. I really hope so. What time is it? By now, should be noon. Where can I find Murdoch? I'm surprised. You've never seen? And that usually the siblings all have lunch together at the hip every Sunday. Do the sisters know about what's going on in Echo? Ralph hesitates. Murdoch thinks they don't, but both sisters are very intelligent. It makes me uneasy. Perhaps you could find out for us. Doubt I'd find anything Murdoch didn't. Best of luck. I should draped on the couch and slip it over my head and wrap my center straps over my shoulder. Thanks. Lord knows I'll need more than luck. Take my leave and head back to the brothel. Oh boy. Great. So I surprised myself with how easy that fucking British accent came out this time compared to fucking last time where I was struggling to do it every single time. Good grief. I don't know what's going on with me. I really don't. Maybe I wasn't just maybe I just wasn't feeling it or something. Anyway, that was wow, that was really poignant. The entire idea of Echo just being a giant prison and the fact that he loves his family despite the way they treat him. That is not something I could do if I were in a situation. Nah. I am not that forgiving. Ironically, Sunday afternoon at the hip is when it's most crowded. Psst. Oh, that's funny. That familiar buzz of clinking glasses and too many strangers talking in a room at once hits me and it feels like home again. Oh, what is that fucking outfit? Welcome. Might I have a word? Jared went out of sleep at the staircase. So, where were you last night? We thought you'd be back before dark. That was the intention. So, what happened? Ran into a client. Got paid. Neither of those is technically a lie. Oh, Sam. You know that's dangerous. We're supposed to bring clients back here. Well, I'm fine. And my wallet's heavier. Maybe for now. Damn fool. You know me. She sucks on her teeth. Speaking of which, I was told my client last night was here right now. She crosses her arms. Oh, really? You might have seen him. Tall guy, red fox. Camera slung around his neck. Shit-eating grin? That's the one. He's here with a party. Oh. Back corner. I'd take you there, but... But... That Batavian weasel's there too. Oh. Could you please fit him in for a booking soon? He keeps asking me a couple of questions and only half of them are about you. I can't bring that up now, but I'll see what I can do. She sighs in relief. Thank you. I didn't technically make any promises, but okay. Wait, so Murdoch's tall? He's a tall boy? That's... automatically hotter. Whatever. I mean, I'm 6'2" myself, but whatever. I wait through the crowd in the direction she points me in. Eventually I see them. Murdoch sits in the middle of the table, flanked by his two sisters. Cliff is sitting next to Dahlia. Holly's there too, sitting next to her fiancé, whose dick I just drained a few nights ago. Because, of course he is. I loathe to admit it, but I wasn't enamored with the new priest. Well, I should hope not. He's a priest. Don't go giving her any ideas now. Beasts, the both of you. Small sister sighed wistfully. There really was a Calvinist tinge to this homily, wasn't there? Okay. I'm so disappointed. Well, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. It's more Mormons than Lutherians all down the valley. Ugh, God, no. I must again thank you for inviting me to Mass. It's familiar comfort in this place. You must have been unimpressed. Our churches must pale to the cathedrals across the pond. The weasel titters. He looks a bit uneasy. Well, I'm sure there's certainly more impressive things to gawk at than our churches know. Such as... Why, our men, of course. He lifts his own bicep, gives it a quick swoosh. Ah, fucking hell. Cliff. No, buddy, no. Both vixens snort. But I suppose there's a divine presence in the landscape of the Western Plains, no? The meadows and quarries here are ancient, certainly like I've seen before. This might be too much. Perhaps I should wait for the group to sleep before crashing any conversations. Is that Sam over there? Sam? Oh my god. Sam? You who? Hello, ladies. And fellas. Who touched or been asked to touch the dick of every minute. True. Jesus Christ. I've wanted to talk to him more. Me too. Me three. I can tell that Murdoch is faking a smile right now, but I probably couldn't have it. This were a few days ago. Maybe if I just focus on the women, this won't stay too awkward. I can't thank you enough for helping my brother out with picture day. And helping Murdoch run the store. Don't Alfred run the store? That might be what the deed says. We all know who keeps things shipshape. At least the sisters recognize that. Happens I was looking to speak to both of you too. Really? Out with it then. I keep running to one of the students from the school. Probably in place to be. I think her name's Blythe. Dahlia puts in a bashful look and Holly's lips tightened. Well, if it's a student who's somewhere she shouldn't be, it's certainly Blythe. Bit of a ringleader, isn't she? But she does her work and cares about her future. She's a good mind for literary analysis. Oh, cool. Like-minded individuals in completely different age groups, I see. Christ, me and literary analysis go. Jeez, I fucking love it. I mean, you've seen my channel. You've seen a lot of my videos about like my book reviews and my like literary analysis, like the one I released recently, William Gaddis. That one was really fun to write. And arithmetic too. Okay, no, fuck math. Why do they think I care at all about her school performance? Okay, well, she was running around the lake with a switchblade last night. Two victims looked at one another. That sounds like their family. I'm surprised it was a switchblade this time. This time? It's all true, I was there as well. That's not his voice. Why were you both down at lake last night anyway? I needed the fresh air and exercise. So no ordinary Murdoch sounds and he lies. By the by, I'm glad you showed up so we didn't track you down. I was talking to Ma before church this morning, and she said would you like to stop by for dinner tonight? Ew. Somehow I wonder if I heard that correctly. She what now? Murdoch, whatever's putting you in a tizzy. It's traditional for family to ask her employees over to dinner. But that's awfully short notice. Isn't it, Sam? It really is, but I have a bad feeling that decline the offer will get back into a heap of trouble. Or worse, get me fired. Tonight's fine. But she'll have to cancel. Smaller sister spoke up. Oh? For the briefest moment, I feel like the polite atmosphere shattered and there's some contention in the air. On account of... Me, of course. Astronomy Club is observing the heavens tonight. I've planned it for some time. Well, that puts a damper on things. I know. I'm terribly sorry, but it can't be missed. What's been made? People have been hurted. Well, I'll leave you eggheads to it then. I'll deliver the bad news. Suppose it's time for us to be off then. I'll play the tab. We can pay for ourselves. Ah. Well, if you insist. Comes out the front door of the saloon. I let out a soft breath of relief. Samuel, would you like to join me for astronomy club tonight? I know you used to work for you for dinner, but I just cleared your plans. Perhaps I could teach you a thing or two. On one hand, this gives me more time to smell with his sister, figure out what if she knows something about Echo. On the other hand, I don't know a lick about telescopes. I might be over my head. I'm not the quickest learner. She smiles wide. That's okay. I'm told I'm very patient. Have to admit, probably won't ever get an opportunity to see a telescope again if I pass this up. I don't even know what they're supposed to look like. Alright, I'll do it. Wonderful. Murdoch, would you like to join us? Sorry, sis, I have to see Sheriff Ella. Again? But you said you already went to visit him before church. He wasn't available, it's urgent. It's always urgent. Murdoch sighs. Fine, do as you wish. Well then, Mr. Tibbets. How about you? Mr. Murdoch promised to introduce me to more of the Masada community who settled in Echo. Cheer from more prominently this time. That's right, I remember now. This is for my research, so it's too important to ignore. But I'm still itching to see your telescope. Perhaps in due time. Seems like it will be just the two of us, after all, Mr. Ayers. Mr. Ayers. She shakes my paw. It's so small, my hand, I'm afraid it'll break if I squeeze too hard. Feels embarrassing when people use my last name and Mr., but maybe that's because I'm not used to it. Meet me at school at 7 p.m. then. Sure thing. As I go throughout the bells and whistles of my day, I can't help but wonder how this family keeps roping me into various activities without monetary compensation. Is that really all you think about, dude? I suppose it's because I don't want to upset any of them. Something about them rubs me the wrong way, but I can never pin it down. other than the terrifying parents. When I see the sun begin to set, I can't help but feel like I need to fulfill this social obligation. So I trek down to the school, sign in, or another of those gaudy visitor passes, and then we'll make my way up to the library on the third floor. Walk in on the tiny fox picking a typewriter. Early. Sorry. It's no trouble at all. She plucks whatever it was that she was working on the typewriter and shoves it into her pocket. Over here. She pulls a key out from her pocket and climbs up one of these step ladders. She pushes the key to lock one out door and she pulls down an unfolding wooden ladder with hinges. Up this way. She makes her way up to the top rather slowly. When she completely ascends, I start to follow. First, I check the ladder. Its hinges look brand new and well maintained like the rest of the library. It's a little creaky as I climb, but more than sturdy enough for someone my size and weight. How fucking big are you, Sam? I mean, I know he's fucking muscular, but like that doesn't really explain his height. When I'm at the top, she's already there waiting for me, sitting in a large metallic chair connected to a massive tubular machine. Thank you so much for coming. Students will be very happy to meet you when they get here. Students? I'm not going to presume that you know anything, so let's just get started. Telescopes are machines created to capture more light than possible with the naked eye. The devices which have the capacity to capture more light can allow us to see objects from greater distances away. Normally, I give my students instructions to search for a specific celestial body, and then have them calculate how many light years away it is, and then they map it on a star chart over the course of a year. But you don't have to worry about that. See? What the fuck is she saying? Oh, Sam. The first thing you might have noticed that we're in a giant dome. I have. The reason why it's a dome is so we can turn the telescope 360 degrees. Who are you? Like so. She turns the large wheel and the large mechanical device turns on its axis, moving with the roof. We can view east, west, north, and south skies, and we can use a compass to tell which direction is which. Look at the table over there. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Virgo, there's mine. That's my star sign. I'm Virgo. Our star chart maps every direction of the sky at once in a circular map. And you can turn to different directions to see which direction of the sky you're staring at. When I studied at the university on the East Coast, we captured the movements of stars right there on glass photo plates. But pen and paper is sufficient for early learners. Do you have any questions so far? Yes. All of them. No. Great. You know, I don't even know what a university looks like. But that Cliff fellow talks about his planet. It's a place where you pay a lot of money to access equipment you can't normally afford. And where you do a lot of hard work so other people can steal your credit. Oh. So were there a lot of smart guys like you there competing stuff? I knew a lot of other women who studied certain study plates. But generally only men were allowed to operate the telescopes themselves. So how did you come to know how to use it? Because I decided to do it anyway. And I didn't get caught. Oh. It's okay. I have my own now. Can I use it? Sure. Come take a look at the eyepiece. Have to hunch down much more than her to look. Oh, it's Saturn. It's, man, I would fucking love to, like, look at the telescope, like, just see that shit. That would be so fucking cool. What is that? That's Saturn. Why? Shaped all funny. Because there's a lot of dust and icy stuff trapped in its gravitational pull. What does that mean? It means it's trapped in the orbit. Stuff can't crash onto the planet, but it also can't break free. So it goes round and round forevermore unless something comes along and bumps it out. So it's all just going in circles? I love you. I love you, game. Yes. It's pretty. It is. It's hard to stop looking at it. Am I actually enjoying this? Alright, that's enough of that. Part of being a good astronomer is knowing what stars are brightest in the night sky without having to rely on a telescope. She hands me a packet of paper that was sent on one of the tables. I look it over and feel like I'm going cross-eyed. What does visual magnitude mean? That's just a fancy way of saying how bright it is. Sol is magnitude negative 26.74 and marked as rank 1 because it's the brightest. I don't know if that minus should be there, but okay. What's Sol? That's the sun. Oh. Okay. Then she takes a small scrap of paper from her pockets. Here are a few random ones to help you get familiar with some more names. I think of it as a scavenger hunt of sorts. My head kinda hurts. Scratch it and look at the smaller piece of paper she gave me. Wesen, Vega, Capella, Formalholt, Aldebaran. Okay. I don't know any of those, but okay. I know, like Vega seems full familiar, but well, I don't know. This looks annoying. You're gonna run into a lot of funny names. Let me know if you need help pronouncing any of them. Back and forth the scrap paper in the packet. I really don't feel like doing this. Can I look at Saturn again? Well, you still want to apologize for answering again. I suppose. We hear the attic door creak open. Both of us look over as we hear the wood-iron squeak. Ah, this bitch. Sorry I'm early, Miss Burns, but... She stops claiming when her gaze meets mine. But what? I'm just wondering what the hell this huge man is doing up here is all. Language, dear. Yeah, that's right. Language. You little shit. Size of my grin feels kind of painful right now. Whatever you say, Miss Burns. Just seems like this one's everywhere is all. Oh, are you two already acquainted? No. Can't say we are. Split between the two of us. We both come to understand that we don't need to talk about where we were and when last night. Call him Mr. Ayers, Miss Washington. Well, of course, Miss Burns. Short Vixen sighs. Anyway, here's tonight's guided activity. Make sure everyone gets one. The cat takes one of the pieces of paper, folds it up, and puts it in the bag she's holding. Well, that's the thing, Miss Burns. I'm just here to tell you I can't stay for long. Mostly, I just want my weekly activities to do it on my own. If you have places to be, then there's always next week. Thanks for understanding. You might as well take my class at this point. You have a good enough math scores. There's a difference between liking math and being good at math, Miss Burns. I do it because I have to, not because I want to. But you seem to like it plenty when I don't tell you it's math. That's nice, Miss Burns. I'm gonna go now. Although, could you help walk me to the supply closet? She jerks her head to me. I should be walking around all my lonesome in this creepy school, should I? As if that's the first step you went around before. Maybe if you ask him nicely. Why don't you escort me downstairs, mister? You sure it's proper for a young one like you to be walking around at now with a grown man? Put a bit of an edge in my voice. Cat's voice goes flat. Somehow I'm sure I should protect my reputation. Don't give a fuck about your reputation. I give a fuck about mine. It's flattering that you both think there'll be a crowd at the school after hours, but I doubt you'll see anybody on your way out. Fine. I should be heading home soon anyway, so I'll walk you out. Much obliged. We don't talk much when we leave the observatory together. The halls in this place feel a lot longer at night. I mean, we're literally in the definition of a liminal space right now, so... Yeah, I would say so. Alright, what do you want? Both of us know you wouldn't have asked me if you went after something. So what is it? I wonder what happened to make you so paranoid, Mr. Ayers. Enough, I reckon. Maybe it's all those rumors floating around about you being a cocksucker. Oh my god, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Stop. Excuse me? Language, Mr. Ayers. No, that's not how this works. Do you know how many times my mom would have slapped the shit out of me if I dared talk that way to her? Oh, fucking spare me. Hell nah. What the fuck is wrong with you? You shouldn't even know about these things. Let's just be talking about them. Who says I'm talking about anything? I just hear what I hear. You heard wrong, let it go. You don't know shit about me, and if you don't get to your point by the time we're at the front door, you're not to talk to me ever again. You hear me? But there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Then you better start talking fast. Alright. She starts slipping a coin in her paw as we walk and catches it with one hand. Each metallic clink leaves a pit of pain in my ears. First, did you figure out that Miss Burns hides messages in her activities? Huh? The notes she gives some people. There's often something hidden. Most people don't notice. I thought it was a joke at first, but the messages are weird sometimes. I've tried to ask her about it before, but she won't talk about it with me. Well, I'll be honest. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm a little surprised about that, but that don't matter much. Second thing is that I keep seeing you on Miss Burns' brother a lot. And so what? Easy there. No, I want to know if you think he knows about those messages. He's never told me anything about messages. Then I'd appreciate if you asked him. And why's that? Maybe just to see how he reacts. Not a single goddamn so-called respectable adult in this town gives me the time of day when I tell them my best friend's missing. So I figure maybe the less respectable ones would give a damn. Murdoch Burns is plenty respectable. I don't know why I have the center to say that. I'm angry. You really don't have a clue about anything people say, do you? And what do people say? That his mom and pa are the only reason he ain't locked up or dead. That if it weren't for them, he'd be in a considerable amount of trouble. What makes his parents so special, then? I guess you could say that people believe the headmaster is raising all Echo's children. It would be a crock of shit, of course, but it's undeniable that a considerable amount of folk trust that woman's words. More so than yours truly, at the very least. Well, that ain't saying much. She flipped the coin again. Guess that puts us in the same boat, don't it? Listen. You're clearly pretty strong, and more importantly, you're an adult. You can get into all sorts of places I couldn't. People say you do all sorts of things for money. People lie. Oh, sure, unquestionably. But I need some help looking for somebody. In a place I don't want a lot of people to know about. And I got money. Oh yeah, how much money? Cat holds up a coin in the moonlight. I see a double eagle shine between her paws, and I can feel my heart beat in my throat as I struggle to talk. Where'd you get a hold of that? Found it. Found it where? There's a more. The cat looks at the coin in the paw, and back to me. Gives me an odd look like she's putting one and two together in her head. I can show you sometime, but only if you agree to help me for a whole week. Just a week? That's all I need. But you have to start tomorrow. Bite the bottom of my lip, watching her roll that coin in between her fingers. I wonder if that's one of my coins. And if it is, how'd she get a hold of it? Knowing that if I told her it might be mine, she'd ask me to prove it. And then she'd know what I've done. Where should I meet you then? And when? Meet me at the old cemetery south of train station at 5 p.m. Give or take an hour and a half. Give or take half an hour. It's a bit of a walk. Come or don't. We leave the school behind us, hearing the observatory's whirs and clanks behind us. Clanks leave behind us, and the sound of crickets hits our ears. The cat sprints off without any kind of light. I want to tell her not to do that, but I get the feeling that she won't listen to me anyway. Oh boy, you're back in your fucking brothel room. Christ. Oh my god, that's interesting. What is going on with that person? I have no idea. Wow. I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be back in a second. Boy. So, howdy, y'all. I'm back. Now it's time for more of this. Good grief. Oh, wow, Cherry Pepsi, I love you. I'm thankful that there's nobody to greet when I get back to the hit. Tomorrow's going to be another busy day, so it'll be good to to relax a little. I should definitely freshen up before I go to sleep, though. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm going crazy. But I might not get to now. But I might not get to now that somebody's out knocking at the door. Come in. Door opens and Cynthia shows up. Good evening, Sam. Evening, Cynthia. You doing all right? Haven't seen you around much of it as of late. You're gonna be able to make rent this month, won't you? For once, I'm not worried about that. Oh, really? That daytime job pays well. Oh, Sam, that's fantastic. It's about time I'm the one acting a fool for worrying. But it's nice that you worry. This is just one of the few times I think you don't have to. You have no idea how good it sounds to hear that. Should I bring you up a cocktail? The girls are experimenting. Not unless y'all invent a new way to serve water. And either not. Okay, I don't need to be told twice. Rest well, Sam. I think I can for once. That girl got me half of my savings back. William's paws are too tight to cast any suspicion on me, and I haven't heard a peep out of any demon nor spirits. Good job. Good job, Sam. You fucking idiot. You fucking moronic simpleton butt-shock fucking moron. Oh my god. Don't invite the devil black fucker. Maybe Murdoch and Ralph are right. Don't feel bothered and they can't bother you. Well, true, but fucking thinking thoughts like that isn't gonna help. Oh yes, I haven't felt anything from the demon or spirits today. Oh, did somebody say they haven't heard from us today? Time to go haunt their ass. That's just how these fucking things work. It's just how they work, Sam. But yes, don't feel bothered they can't bother you. That's good advice for basically all of life in a way. Ain't that right, you evil bastards? Oh, fucking hell, don't taunt the demons. Hey, demons, it's your boy. Fuck you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, no. Music to my ears. Or the inside of my head, really. I can beat this. Nobody has to ever know what I did. This town needs secrets. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, he's gonna have a night. Oh, never mind. No nightmare. Okay, good. Oh boy, I was expecting one. Really was. What the fuck? I just switched into that. What the fuck? Turns out I did rest well. So well that I slept in. Oh boy, that sun effect is really cool. I love it still. It's real bright outside. Can't be late for my second week. There isn't any time to eat breakfast or wash my face, but I do what I can when the crowd is slow. When I walk in through the front door of the general store, Ralph stares me down from behind the cash register. You look well rested. It must be nice. Still getting used to work on a second job. It must be difficult to work with so many tools. Harder than you think. There's one of the digits on his lip. No more. You're lucky it was slow morning. Murdoch covered for you. I exhale as that concern leaves me. Where is Murdoch right now? He's developing some birthday portraits in the Red Room. The Red Room, eh? God, if you haven't already, one show you should watch, that's actually really fucking good in terms of horror and like acting and characterization and writing. Uh, Haunting of Hill House. It's fucking amazing. It's genuinely one of the best Netflix originals. The sequel, Bly Manor, not really the sequel, but you know, it's in the same series. Fucking sucks. That one's terrible. Thanks. Remember to knock before barging in. Those clients would be furious if you were in their shoot. I've got it, thanks. When I get to the closet, I knock on the door. It's me, can I come in? Shit in it. I hear rustling inside the closet. Okay, come in. He takes a pair of thick rubber gloves as he watches me enter and close the door as quickly as I muster. It's good of you to keep coming back, but if you're always late, my father will catch on sooner or later. I need the rest. I promise it won't happen tomorrow. Well, I hope it wouldn't. The less time you spend here, the fewer opportunities we have to be alone. You'd have plenty of time together if you hadn't run off with that ferret. Mr. Mr. Tippett is a stoat, Mr. Ayers. I don't care. Why? What are you wasting time with him for when you know something happened to like? I felt that Mr. Tibbets deserved a similar kind of one to the one I gave you. He hasn't lived here long. He's ignorant to its danger. He needs to live while he still has the chance. And he believed everything you had to say. Of course he didn't. He's as stubborn as you are. But he did listen when I brought up all the Merceda marketplaces in Camp Rosa. I doubt he'll avoid the opportunity to go when it's only a short train right away. How sweet. Now, what did William say about the lake? He said he's out looking into it. What the hell does that mean? It means he thinks he knows what's going on, and that's not information he's willing to share. Do you think he knows what's going on? No, I don't. William is very logical, but also very emotional. I think that if he always trusts his senses, they'll lead him to very logical conclusions. Very logical, very wrong conclusions. But if he can figure out what's reliable and what isn't on his own, then there's some hope for him. And for us. We talk about our worries some more as I help him develop more of the film. My worries about him, about me, about William and Cliff and Cynthia, about that strange young woman with the hat and that piece of paper his sister gave me. She told me your sister writes secret messages. Passed it to him and he squinted for her phone and put it into his pocket. Well, Dahlia does love her puzzles. That does sound like something she tortures her students with. I'll look into it. Was that supposed to be a jump scare? What the fuck? At noon, I have to take a loaf of bread and a bottle of jam off the shelves to get myself from getting dizzy during the day. Murdoch doesn't care, but Ralph gives me plenty of shit about logging the price of the products and eating in the wrong place. But we find a surprise at the front of the store when we hear the doorbell ring. Murdoch's older sister Holly steps in. I really don't know much about her other than she's a fiancé, and that he comes a lot. God damn it, Sam, stop. Good afternoon, Holly. It's certainly afternoon, Ralph. A bit far from the school, aren't you? I'll be up before the lunch hour is up. Don't worry on my behalf. I wouldn't put myself through the trouble. She turns away from him. He shoots her a withering look. Oh boy. There's some tension there. She tilts her head and pivots her stance as if she's looking for somebody until her gaze narrows in on me. Just the gentleman I was looking for. Can I help you, ma'am? No, ma'am needed. Call me Holly. So, I know this is last minute, but I did mention that I am my mother. My mother and I. It should be my mother and I. That's the proper way to say that sentence. Christ. Whatever. Not that big a deal. Just bugs me that in a VN with actually good writing, there's still mistakes like that. What for? So you get to know you better. Think of it as being part of our extended family in a fashion. I wasn't aware that families paid labor costs to maintain their relationships. But then again, that seems to be a bad argument to make against this family. Let him ease into knowing us, Holly. It's just a dinner, it's only once. I promise that my cooking isn't that atrocious. What's the dish? Corned beef on cabbage and fresh bread with apple butter. She puts a lilt and a hum into her voice. And it'll be fresh. Home cooking does sound nice. They keep giving me with free food. Haven't had that in a while. 7 o'clock tonight then, Murdoch, Mr. Ayers. Suppose so. 7 o'clock, Holly. She closes her eyes tight and smiles. Then I'll see you both this evening. She turns her ears, gliding confidently out the door. Ralph opens his mouth and the Murdoch shoots him a look. Murdoch exhales, breaking eye contact, and leaves his register, retreating to the back room and shutting the door. It's almost a slam, but not quite there yet. What's that all about? It's just an old dynamic they share. They grew up with one another, too. Maybe one of them will feel comfortable sharing that one day. Or maybe they can spare their baggage and not act their ages. Maybe. The rest of the day goes by slowly. When the clock strikes 4 o'clock, I let the fox know I'm leaving, and he just gives me a look and a one-note grunt as he carries a bag of potatoes over his shoulder. Ralph gives me a dismissive wave to head out the front door. And the sun blinded him again. It's way too hot outside today. The dry heat makes my throat feel scratchy when I suck it in. Excuse me, Christ almighty. But I keep marching my way south toward the train tracks, blocking the sun with my paws as I look for the station. When I arrive, I look to the opposite side of the tracks and I can see a gated area off in the distance. I've never been on this side of the train tracks. Mostly because it's out of the way and there's not much out here. A few dusty fields and a couple of shacks, maybe. And a graveyard, apparently. I don't see many traces of fresh flowers or anything, but I'm surprised to see real stone slabs and plaques as opposed to unmarked wooden crosses. Any more surprised to see a mausoleum. Guess that's the difference between a graveyard and a potter's field. Must be nice to have people who want to remember your name, I suppose. Where the hell is that damn girl then? The door of the mausoleum rattles and I jump back, hitting my shin on a stone cross. Motherfuck! Get in, quickly, now. There's a wetness I can still be in my jeans, let me know I'm bleeding underneath. 1 minute into this dumb fucking situation, I'm already injured. Shuts the door behind me when I get in. I don't like this. There's a small set of stairs leading to a lower chamber with a coffin inside. Dead flower petals litter the floor and the remains of old candles burned down to their wicks stain the alcoves and the candle holders spread among the room. Alright. You managed to drag me all the way out here. You better have a good reason. Been 3 days now since my best friend's gone missing. And people acting weirder and weirder by the minute lately. Weird how? People act perfectly fine when I talk to them about any boring old thing. Then the minute I tell them something's wrong or need help, it's like they aren't there anymore. Like they'll listen to what you say, but choose not to acknowledge it. Last month there was a girl I knew named Mary Applegate. Really stuffy, always did what she was supposed to. Pretty as a pecan pie. Couldn't stand her personally, but she didn't deserve what happened to her. Mary Applegate had a lot of admirers, so it wasn't unusual to hear about her getting love letters. She shared some of those letters in the girl's bathroom from time to time. Some of them were sweet and stupid. Some of them were downright pervy. But none of them made her scared. Not until she got that letter saying, "I'm gonna get you." A lot of us thought it was a dumb prank and showed us the envelope filled with dead bugs. That's when all of us knew somebody was out to get Mary. Somebody weird and mean. We didn't hear anything about it for a week until Mary came back to class. Half her whiskers were missing. She showed us a new letter she got in the bathroom that day. It said, "Anytime I want." And the envelope it came in had the missing half of whiskers and patches of her pubic hair. Whoever was doing it was inside of her house. She was so scared she had to move back east with her aunts. At least that's what the people tell me. Ain't nobody getting letters from out east that I've heard about. It's like she don't exist no more. 3 other girls and 2 boys in the school gone missing since then. Could that be what we saw last lake? Maybe that was them. Whoever's doing this. Teachers don't give a shit because they tell us people move away all the time. The headmasters certainly don't give a shit. And the mayor don't give a shit either. I can't ever find the damn lawmen because they're not at the station doing God knows what. My best friend's own damn parents are so distraught they won't even talk to me. So I don't know what to do other than act on my own. And what part of that plan involves dragging me off into a mausoleum? The part where I show you something I know that nobody else does. She walks up to the side of the wall and pulls away a plank that I thought was part of the underground structure. Part of the wall swings open like a door, showing me that it's a thin wooden frame covered in a dirty piece of canvas. Only looks like a wall. Looks like part of a wall. What the fuck? Okay, I mean, we've officially reached a point where I have no fucking idea what's going to happen here. So, we reached it quite a bit ago, actually. Like, after the last video, that was where my knowledge of this route ended. So, yeah, I'm anxious now. It opens to a long, dark tunnel. I can feel a rush of air, so similar, too similar, to the entrance of the mines. What is this? Me and Melissa call it the Tromping Grounds. Mostly because it's big. Real big. Trader Paul, she walks into the tunnel and I stand at the entrance. You got a lantern or something? Don't need one. At least not where we're going. Enough beams of natural light make it down here for us to get by. This tunnel's a lot of branches, but we're going straight. And where do those branches go? We don't know all of them yet, but the ones we do know about we mark with different paint colors. Blue goes to the lake. See one of the walls marked in black. Where does this one go? Those go nowhere. Or used to go somewhere long ago. And the red one? That one goes all the way down to the mines. The mines. That's gotta be at least a mile's walk from here. It's impolite to fib. Makes you think you see him as stupid. Ain't a fib. Walk down that way if you don't believe me. Besides, you should take a look at the framing of the tunnels. Huh. They're built sort of like frames in the mine shaft, aren't they? Probably because the mining company built this place. But why? Do I look like I'd know? All I'm saying is that these tunnels clearly aren't accidental. And you've never seen anybody use them. Nobody but me and Melissa. I have a good friend who works at the mines. Maybe he could tell me what this place is supposed to be used for. Asking about it? That's fine and good so long as you don't show it to him and tell about where it is. And why's that? Because it needs to stay a secret. You'll understand why soon enough. The longer you walk, the more unsettled I get. There's something about this place that unnerves me. Something about the lighting. She was technically right, wouldn't need a flashlight. I can't see anything clearly, but I can see just enough to get by. I can see my own dark outline in her silhouette as I follow her down the tunnel long enough to get my legs to get sore. Motes of dust swirl in the occasional beams of light, sometimes looking like a face, or the body of something much bigger standing in the tunnel. Could you stop, please? Could you please stop? But it leaves as soon as it comes. It's like when I look into my mirror when the light is low, and the things that I see aren't there. Not really. But it still feels like something else is looking back. It's getting harder to walk as we go on. Are we going uphill? Yeah, we're at the end. But I don't see anything. A sudden flood of light fills the tunnel as I see the cat's legs dangling above me when the dust clears. She pulls herself out what looks like a trap door. I jump and grab the side of the frame, allowing my chest up my arms, lift my feet out one by one. There's a canopy above us. Where the fuck? We're in a spare cast with pine trees, and there's an old large house in front of us. Where are we? This is where I live. Why would this tunnel lead here? I don't know. Been trying to figure it out for years. Now you know why I don't want anybody else to know about this place. I've had nightmares about things coming out of this trapdoor. Doesn't help that I can see from the edge of the window. The wind is blowing and I can see dust devils spin in the distance as dirt and sand spray past my ears. How far away from town? Just 5 minutes away if you follow these tracks. He points to the railroad which runs parallel to our house. Must be noisy. They go on and on like an endless ladder leading to the horizon. You ever used to walk down the train tracks, Mr. Ayers? What's that got to do with anything? It doesn't. But there's just a certain look I notice on people's faces when they stare at train tracks. When I was a kid, I guess. Back when you weren't so old? I'm not old, I'm 25. That's old as hell. No, it ain't. You don't know shit. I know I never want to be that old. Can your bones predict the weather yet? I'll predict I'm gonna snatch that stupid head off your head when I catch up to your disrespectful ass. Then do it. Press off the back of my foot, jolting forward, using an initial push off the ground to give me speed. She looks over her shoulder, looks, she hears me, snatches her own hat off her head, and holds her arms out, putting each foot in front of her down. Each foot in front of her, down in front of her, widening the gap. I can sprint after her for a few minutes before I have to slow down. My lungs are pregnant with my throat at this point. Hold my knees and look between my legs, coming to a stop, gasping for breath. Cat puts her hat back on, hopping from one foot to the other on the tracks, still holding her arms out, balancing. Aw, that's a sweet little image. Funny thing is, I'm like turning 20 this year, so technically I have 5 years before I'm Sam's age. Christ, that's fucking weird. I put my paws in my pockets, relax, and walk at a slow pace. Not bad endurance for somebody your size. Usually big burly suckers like you are all power and no grit. You dress fairly floral to be talking about grit. What I am is goddamn comfy. I don't need to dress like a boy to work harder than one. If I thought like you did, I'd be saying all boys should wear flowers all the time to be taken seriously. People would laugh at me, and they'd be right to laugh because I'd sound fucking dumb. At least you have strength and endurance going for you. Settle down. I'm used to being on my feet more often than not. You travel all the way from the East Coast to the West, and you're bound to end up getting a little gritty. I thought I heard a particular type of twang in your voice. Dogwood State? Magnolia. You ever met Huckleberry Finn out there? I'd love to meet a boy my age like that. If I did, I'd tell him his name is stupid. Well, you can't. Says who? He's a fictional character, Mr. Ayers. From a book. Guess that means he can't get offended then. I would suppose that's true, Mr. Ayers. So there's no way he could get mad when I say he's a yellow-bellied bitch boy with a gap in his teeth, and know he'll ever have his babies. Gross. Besides, how would you know anything if you're not Mark Twain? 'Cause I'm using the power of my imagination. Ain't that the so-called power of books, anyhow? Well, sure. But you still have to read the goddamn things. Nah. Yeah, huh? You can't just have ideas about a thing you haven't read if you want people to take you seriously. If somebody's gonna take my ideas about Huck Finn's baby making more serious the business than whether or not I read his book, I probably don't want to talk to them in the first place. Okay, fair, but that's not the point. Sounds like a good one to me. You didn't do so well when we went back to school when you went to school, did you, Mr. Ayers? I don't know what you mean by that. I learned how to read and write when I was done. Wait, no math? Well, there was subtraction and addition. No Euclid, no Archimedes? I get by with knowing just one language, thank you. No history? Well, most folks learn about all the battles. No Shakespeare? That's the guy who holds the skull. What did they teach you for 12 years? 2. What? We didn't have much money from where I'm from. Our school was just one room and one teacher. Nothing like the brick castle you kids have in this town. 2 years what you go for free. The extra stuff costs money and find a private tutor. And your mom and pa wouldn't get you one? Hell no. No wonder you can't recognize any of Miss Burns' codes. You think it'll lead to buried treasure? Those foxes are well off, but they're not Long John Silverrich. Who? The pirate captain from Treasure Island. Seems like you read a lot of books. They're the cheapest way to be somewhere else. The only book they wanted me reading was the Bible, and Sunday school was free. They gave out all sorts of prizes if you could memorize the most verses. That was the first time I ever got to try softwater taffy. Well, yeah. It's good, but it's just candy. It was the first time I got to have sugar. Once you know how good something tastes, it's hard to go back. But it's tough to remember what your life was like before you knew. Maybe this stuff is all ordinary when you have so many teachers to answer your questions, and you can just run along down to one of those fancy candy stores popping up downtown and with the pocket money and get a whole box of taffy. I wish it could have been like that for me. Keep on walking for some time. Seems like she's thinking. And you know what I'd do if I had your body and strength? I'd track down every rapist and bigot in this filthy community, overpower them, and then find the biggest stick with rusted nails I could wrap my claws around and fuck them bloody. That's a frightful thing to say. I guess. But wouldn't most people do that if somebody deserved it? I don't know. Yes, you do. I don't recall asking your opinion on this, Satan. So hush up. Yeah, I don't really want to think about it. That's fine. Want to know why I do and why I wouldn't lose any sleep? How about you try it once and see how you feel about it? Kids say tough things like this all the time, but they rarely mean it. I wish I could know what it's like to kill somebody, though. Even people you hate. Even people who deserve it. And share how it feels to see that look in their eyes when they know they're going to die. What a waste it all is. You can hear the train getting closer. Don't know. Revenge? No. 'Cause it won't be about revenge. Wouldn't be about my personal satisfaction neither. None of that stuff. Killing somebody like that would mean nobody would ever get hurt by them again. I could snap somebody's neck 1,000 times over if it meant save another girl like me. She gives me a look I've never seen another person give me. A completely calm and measured look. Cross my heart and hope to die, I would. You know yourself better than I do. Listen, kid, I got an engagement I gotta keep. Then go. I got you for a whole week. Me back at the cemetery tomorrow, same place, same time. Till next time, kid. Till next time, old man in the mountain. Give me a break. And she's already gone. She better keep worrying about giving me my money after all this. I'm still not sure what to think about that underground shaft leading from the mausoleum to all parts of town. Why would the mine have built something like that? Nick would know. But I haven't seen him for almost a week. Ever since he missed his appointment with me, I can't tell where the hell he's been. And it's starting to make me anxious. But he knows how to take care of himself. He's got his own friends. He'd probably say I'm simple for worrying about him. But that still doesn't mean I don't need his help and I miss him. When I get back into town, at least I see that Murdoch is waiting for me outside the store. Looks like he's locked it up already. He tells me I look a little dusty. I tell him we live in the fucking desert. The Burns are a 5 minutes walk from their store just outside the range of downtown. What the fuck kind of... Okay. That's fucking 3 stories, Jesus. home is tall, but looks a lot smaller than I would have expected. And the high wooden gates surrounding it can still have the proud look even smaller. Murdoch unlatches the front gate. We walk through them hit with the strong smell of flowers. Not just any flowers. Roses and jasmine. And smell of fresh roses I left at home. Inner walls are covered with them. Red, pink, white, and peach blossoms. I see the older Burns sister crouching on one of the beds, pruning the sides of one of the vines. She turns her head, taking notice of us. Then she looks back to the rose bushes methodically, gracefully, humming a little tune as she goes. I stand there looking at those flowers. I haven't seen fresh roses in years. Not surprising. They're difficult to grow and keep in the desert. They can even get sunburned on the sides. Those don't look sunburned to me. I should hope not. All the work some mother's gone every day. And every morning. She wouldn't dream of let one of these flowers grow wild afraid. They'll still just prune away the imperfections. She looked at us again. We're both early. Didn't she want us to make sure we weren't late? You're welcome. There's a table I have to set and lemons I still have to squeeze. She moved her gloves. Murdoch, why don't you take Mr. Ayers, was it? To the parlor. Very well. I suppose we'll reconvene in the dining room. Shall we go, Sam? Lead the way. The new smell of butter and cinnamon hits my nose when you step in through the front door. Their foyer looks clean and classical. It feels more like the school than the general store. That must be the mother's influence. There are several ornamental crosses nailed to the wall and a statue of the Virgin Mary sitting on an end table. The only thing with a personal touch to it is an end table with a bowl of strong-smelling wood chips and a photograph of a young fox. You never told me you were such a cute kid when you were little. Thank you, but that isn't me. Layden squints. Oh. So he was right. This one's markings are slightly different. This way, Sam. He opens the door by the stairway past into a room with a fireplace. Ew, fuck you. Sit on the sofa, I see Murdoch's father. Across him, and I see 3 chairs facing him. And in the middle, I see none other than his sister's fiancé. My lips feel dry, like I remember how strong his low tasted in the back of my tongue. His eyes meet mine and quickly glance elsewhere. Oh, so Mr. Ayers could make it. Murdoch sits in the empty chair close to the fire, leading me to the couch with his father. Leading me to the couch with his father, or the empty chair that places the fiancé between us. That's good. Very good. Thanks for having me over, sir. You don't have to stay standing, son. Yeah, Sam. Jim doesn't bite. I almost say I know and then stop myself, horrified. I don't want to conjure a problem with Mark and boss, so I just pick the less awkward place to sit. A place that puts Jim in between me and Murdoch. But my paws in my pockets to keep from showing off and my claws keep retracting. You're a gambling man, Mr. Ayers. There's not much I have to gamble with, sir. That's good, son. That's real good. I like to see a young person with a practical head. But there's something a bit wrong with never wanting to become more than what you are, wouldn't you say? I'm not sure I know what you mean. Well, I think you'll find most business-minded folks will have to risk something to gain something, wouldn't you say? Not sure what to say at all. Sometimes I'm talking and it feels like he's having a conversation with himself. And he invites me to the conversation all of a sudden without asking me. Something off about it. Well, you see, Jim here takes all sorts of risks. College-educated man, a scientist even, Ah, yes, because that makes him so much better than everyone else. Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. I'm more of an assayer than a researcher, Mr. Burns. But who'd have thought that a geological degree would have warranted a position like yours at CSCG? That kind of a risk is a gamble, Jim, and a mark of greatness by my standards. Perhaps both Sam and Jim would prefer to talk about something other than work. You don't interrupt me. Alfred's relaxed tone suddenly shifted to a sharp one. You take a good look at this man and tell me work isn't worth thinking about right now. Fair point. I don't mind at all, sir. Please continue. They send him all over the West Coast and they pay him to do it, don't they, Jim? Well, I can't deny that, sir. Well, who would? Must be nice. If there's one thing I can never get enough out of my job, it's the traveling. I'm very lucky. You tense, Mr. Hayes? Straightened back with a sudden attention. Cheering in the voice against disarming. Well, I just want to be best behavior, sir. You can line up, Mr. Hayes. I know the ladies want to put on a show, but they tired themselves out after so long. But it's just us men here in the parlor. Oh my god, are you sexist fucking asshole. No need to feel anxious. It's not the ladies making me anxious. At least not right now, anyway. You should keep in mind what I said about gambling. The conservative man never puts himself out there. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. I want to rip your fucking throat out, you piece of shit. He never risks offending anybody, but he's also never known. And he loses connections after connections until he's got nothing left. Oh really, he never risks offending anybody, huh? Well. Oh boy, your Christianity offends me because you use it as an excuse to talk down to people and belittle people because they don't believe you believe because they do. And you also use it as an excuse to subjugate your son who just wants to have his own life, but sure. Sure, go on about your fucking bullshit. Don't let yourself become a ghost before you're already dead. It shot from the sudden intensity of what he's saying and severity in his eyes. I expect somebody to cough or maybe utter some sound of confusion or surprise, but it never comes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna use the lavatory before dinner. If it starts without me, feel free to tell the missus. He bends to stand up and pushes himself off the couch, shaking as he rises and then steadying himself on his feet. He then gives me and Jim a nod before turning around and closing the door in the parlor. What a fucking boy. That's a brave thing to say in this house, in this room. In front of Murdoch, too. I'm sure most of my family comes across as boring to you compared to the lifestyle you're used to. Oh, you've no fucking idea. You've shared the same sim about them too before. But at least you're not boring. Nor is he for that matter. He jerks his head at me, lift a brow, wondering if he's saying what I think he's saying, and Murdoch looks at me like he's confused for a second. He looks about to say something when the door on that side of the room opens. We hear the ringing of a porcelain bell, then Holly's voice, but she never enters the room. Dinner is served, gentlemen. I don't know if I'm happy that the bell derailed the opportunity of Murdoch's question now, or anxious knowing the question will come back later. The dining table looked carefully set. It would be hard to believe people ate food off it if the plates weren't lined with steaming red corned beef sitting on mounds of cabbage. Plates were placed on knitted doilies, and a large glass pitcher of water filled with lemons sits at the center of the table. I can identify the cinnamon butter smell from the thick slices of warm brown bread in front of me. Holly takes her seat next to Jim, and Dahlia sits next to Holly. Gretchen and Red take their seats across from them. Myself and Murdoch wedge ourselves in at the end of one side. There's a place set for you already, Mr. Reyes. I has to sit on the far end of the table. Wouldn't it be settled I say set here, ma'am? Not for the fuss. Now over here, if you please. Rise from the chair, carefully pulling out. I walked all the way opposite of the table. There. Now the whole family is gonna be on you as a proper guest. Proud to say that hiring you was one of the best things my son has done in months. Sam here has been an associate of Sheriff Adler for quite some time. I met him when Dad assigned me to take some from his most recent case. I can't take all the credit. Well, perhaps you should. Running a business so small potatoes. You're going to need to let your employees know that you're comedy running the whole store. You shy away from community achievements, and I assure you, a competitor will summon the bravery. Harley knows you have to take credit for where credit's due. You organize your entire wedding by yourself and on a budget. Why, even Dahlia knows that. Small Vixen unfolds her napkin across her lap, not making eye contact with her mother when she opens her mouth. She hasn't made eye contact with me either. In fact, I almost forgot she was here. Sharing your expertise is sometimes a skill, but so is knowing when not to share it. Mrs. Burns rolls her eyes. But for the rest of us, who have our heads turned down on planet Earth, we have to consider the people talk, and they have to have some of what they say. Hallie understands it. That's why her classroom is so well managed. Firm boundaries must be established. That's all there really is to it. Establish Rita first with a rigor in her team. Oh my god, I hate you. You have to build those habits, Murdoch. You're lucky you haven't played, be so receptive to your management despite his inexperience. His hand on my shoulder and squeezed tight. It's incredibly lucky to have you, and so are we at this table tonight. Appreciate the honor, man, but really, I just move boxes here and there. Miranda was scalded. Are you ashamed of our manual labor? Well, no, ma'am. Well, you shouldn't be. People should be happy to perform manual labor. Sure, it's something everybody can do when everyone can do it quickly or carefully. Most people give up before they're any good at it. Steady, still man who puts his nose to the grind is one of the most virtuous things you can be. Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch. I tell you, you can tell if somebody's lazy based on their bodies, Mr. Ayers, and nothing about you looks lazy. Oh my god. Okay, it's time to fucking beat this fucker. Okay, someone's lazy based on their body. Sure, I look fucking skinny. I have no muscle, but I'm not fucking lazy. I read a lot, I study philosophy, I fucking tried to learn a fucking language. I have learned some languages from when I made my own language, which took fucking effort. So don't you fucking say that people that don't fucking do physical activity are lazy. Shut the fuck up, bitch. See a crook in somebody's neck or a pair of breasts that sag, that's how you know somebody's worked hard in their lives. Nothing else could be considered inspiring. I don't know if I agree with all this, or any of this, but then again, I don't know if I understand everything she's saying in the first place. You have a lot of wisdom to share, Mrs. Burns. Every mother, housewife, daughter, and sister has wisdom to share, Mr. Ayers. There are men in their lives who will listen. That's probably true in some broad sense. Looks like she's hanging out to respond to this. So long as we're on the subject of losing our daughters, I must remind us all that there's still a considerable amount of preparations to be done for our wedding. The chatty daughter is changing the topic, thank the Lord. The Lord's word comes first, dear. It's time to pray. Fuck this. Yeah, fuck this shit. Nope. Now then, it seems we have plenty of capable plans presented to address your needs. We need ushers and caterers, and men to pitch and level the tent. Ushers, did you say? I know Jim has friends, and Jim's plenty has friends. Several of Jim's friends live in the city. They have to travel by train if they're meant to be here, and most of them have important positions. Oh, they're doing such great things. There was a voice bashfully flares her eyelids. Important things. Rawls a doctor. Neil's planning to run for Congress. I certainly hope those important things involve taking care of their families. Most certainly. Roger's wife bore twins. You'd swear they had the likeness of perfect porcelain dolls if you saw them. That's fucking gross. Well, that's delightful, dear. But I think everybody at this table knows your daughters will be the loveliest children this town has ever seen. No, I don't. Shit, anybody's kids can come out ugly. That's not mean, that's just true. Murdoch and Mr. Ayers can perform perfectly as exterior ushers, I should think. That's not what I hired him for! Murdoch's voice booms across the table. I think it's the first time I heard him raise his voice. Back, but then he sees everyone looking at him, his ears split back and lowers his voice. The peals of laughter and the clinks and clinks of utensils have stopped. Christian breaks the silence. Then what the hell did you hire him for that'll make this task impossible? Ollie crosses his arms and sighs loudly. I suppose this puts us back square one for a bump in the road. Oh, no, we'll have none of this. This is one of the most important days of your life, and Murdoch isn't going to forge new and needless complications. Mr. what a conversation you would think would be fair for such a task run by me and will meet it. Nah, I can do it. But I don't think I want to. I can't turn down any amount of extra money thrown my way right now. Just want to make out about how much I think I should be paid for this. How can I even possibly know that? This was dinner party, another job assignment. So there's another easy problem that I fixed. But if my brothers and Mr. Ayers are going to work, they'll need to coat the color. The rest of Jim's men. I could take them into town tomorrow, actually. And they need you on a short leash. They can keep you on a short leash for me if they attend your bachelor party. What do you say to that, boys? Murdoch looks stunned. I grunt, which didn't even answer no. What the hell is happening? A party with lots of alcohol and tomfoolery. She sighed. Boys will be boys, I presume. Jim just wants to keep all the fun to himself. No, please, I was planning to invite them anyway. What kind of groom would I be if I didn't draw my own ushers to the best part of this ceremony? Alfred lets out a raspy chuckle. Such a firebrand. The best part, He winks at her. Just a little joke, come on, Turtle Dove. We dig into our dinner, not even the high quality of food can save this experience. Nausea overcomes me. The both of you really ought to get a tear tomorrow for a last-minute fitting. I wouldn't exactly call this last minute considering we just heard about it. I'm free to take them to the tailor tomorrow at 11. Perfect, you'll avoid the crowd that way. That's during work hours. I managed that for nearly 20 years without you. We'll live without you there for another hour or two. Go. That's the last mention in the dinner conversation, which feels like it goes on for too long. Finally, Dolly is the first to excuse herself, which turns into a chain of reaction of thank yous and the pulling out of chairs. Thank Holly for the cooking and Mr. and Mrs. Burns for the conversation. Mrs. Burns swoops on my shoulder with her bony hand and smiles at me. She thanks me too, and I have to muster my strength not to recoil. I tell them I have another engagement to make, and Murdoch follows me out the door. It's cold out here at night, but at the moment the temperature is enough to persuade me to stay inside. But I do stop after I don't hear Murdoch following me. Ain't you coming? Shakes his head. Got some things to do. Things can wait, Murdoch. I want to tell him he should go home. Because this sure as hell isn't that for him. Maybe changing something will knock some sense into him. You look like you want to tell me something before dinner. We'll talk about that later. He closes the door on me. Let out a big sigh. Suit yourself. I think I'm gonna sleep even harder tonight than I did before. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I want to fucking kill his parents. I want to genuinely strangle them in their sleep. Holy fuck. My morning routine is getting easier and easier. I boiled water with a few orange slices just a little earlier to wash away the grime and seed from his messy bear the prior night. I dressed myself. I managed to eat breakfast today. On my way back to the store in time, too. My mind and body felt fresh when I put in a full day's work. Murdoch's man in the cash register this morning. Hey, look. I'm on time today. Fox stares forward. Feels like he's staring past me. Feels more like he's staring past me. I figured you'd be proud of me. Huh? I'm making jokes, Murdoch. So, yeah, sorry, but it's a bit difficult for me to focus on anything right now. I made a list of things I might be able to do if we get pulled downtown for a fitting. He handed me a little piece of paper. Stare at the list. Water the roses, hose down the porch. Order milk, stack the papers, eat breakfast. Since when does the store carry roses? Wrong list. Plucks at one of my hands. That's for Dahlia. I told you I'm tired. I know you're a fox with no need to bark at me. Sorry. He hands me a different list. This one makes a lot more sense. It's a lot of stupid preferences for stacking things that don't make a lick of sense. For somebody learning about how to manage a store, they sure don't seem to let it manage much. But that's family business. Start doing what's written on the sheet and don't bother asking any questions. First stack is pretty terrible. I think I spent at least an hour sorting through mason jars with slightly different labels of jam. And I spend the next 30 minutes making sure they're stacked so that you can see the labels from one of the front windows. That's important, apparently. The next thing is moving a bunch of crates that arrived this morning out back into storage, sorting through materials and taking inventory. Fucking hell. When I'm finished and walk out to the front, I'm surprised to see Jim, Alfred, and Murdoch there waiting for me. There he is. Very good. Christ, it's 11 already? I guess when I get into the room of routine, I can lose track of time. Well, off you go. Jim's on a time crunch. I wouldn't worry too much, Mr. Barnes. Mr. Hendricks knows it's important. Ralph and I will watch the store. Aren't I always, Mr. Burns? Well, don't watch too hard. Those beady eyes can make folks feel nervous. Alfred's smiling that's a good-natured joke, but gauging by Ralph's expression, he didn't take it that way. Three of us walk out the front door, making the bell on top of it jingle behind us. You boys doing all right this morning? That's a surprisingly friendly greeting. He didn't able to entirely look at me in the face for most of the time I've known him. So we're boys now, huh? Don't remember calling you much else. You used to call me Harley's brother. I'm a lot more comfortable with this now, is all. Some birds are chirping real loud in the gutters of one of the houses up the street. And the both of you should relax if you're gonna meet my friends and part of the ceremony. I'm not gonna tend to you both like his bitch of a mother did last night. Try not to snort. Murdoch was about to say something but doesn't. The hell crawled up her ass anyway? She wouldn't even let you sit where you wanted. The woman's a shrew, all suffragettes are. Oh my fucking god. Okay, you fucking cunt, I see. Oh, what now? Just a radical movement that hates me. Fuck off. Sounds like her. You don't know what you're talking about, Sam. Well, I said I didn't. I'd say it's catching on pretty quickly. Do you think Harley's a shrew too, then? Put his hand in his pocket and rolled his eyes. Ever heard the expression, the exception, not the rule? I have. Well, she's an exception. Oh my god, So you're the sexist. I see. And she already knows what I think. If you talk to her more, you know she's a pretty forward-thinking woman. I talk to her plenty. That's not what I hear, but I'm trying not to split your tail for her. Then just consider that you might not hear everything Holly talks about. You should learn to relax more like your friend here. It's unfortunate people think that I'm relaxed. Alright, Jim. When we get somewhere developed part of downtown, it gets hard to walk together. Mrs. Burns was wrong about the crowd. It's busy as ever. So how far is this tail anyway? Jim gives me a skeptical look. You saying you never been to the tailor before? Not a fancy one, no. Folks I know mend their own clothes. They keep trying to teach me I don't have much patience for it. Spent much time with some machine by me handling his sewing, but doesn't say much at all. He's distant and arranged with his surroundings. It's almost like he isn't here at all. There we are. Jim points out to a model-looking store with full suits on mannequins in the glass front. It's cozy inside, but the air has the thick smell of shoe polish to it. An impatient-looking rat at the counter sizes us up. Can I help you? You're working on a couple orders under Sterling. Rabbit flips through a leather folio of index cards, plucks one out and studies it. So we are. I need to order 2 more vests and material for both of them. You're in luck then. There's plenty of that fabric. Splendid. Would it be possible to have those vests finished in a week? That would be sufficient if we have their measurements today. I trust that you can take over me. Turn to me and Murdoch. Just charge the expenses to the Sterling account. Very well, sir. I have to fit something important from the pawn shop, so I'll leave it to the business. He's out the door before either I or Murdoch can protest. The rabbit shoves a few bundles of vests into each of our arms. Try a few of these sides, and we'll go into specifics based on which fits best to have any of you. Start taking on my shirt when the rabbit raises his voice. The changing room is to your left, sir. I get my flush in my ears and I do something wrong, somewhere fancy, and look at Murdoch. Run an eyebrow and a nasty smirk, but there's nothing on his face. He's just staring at nothing. The rabbit directs us to a closet with high shelves, mirrors, and a fake plant in it. I cut my hands and whisper, "Is that shopkeep up his own ass or what?" Murdoch sifts through for the vests. He doesn't respond. You think any of this gonna fit me? They're all a bit small. Still nothing. Okay. Sit down on a bench by the mirror and read my list to a growl. This is the first time we had a moment's of peace alone together since that god-awful dinner. You haven't acted the same since. Tell me what's wrong or don't, but you better stop putting me in awkward as hell positions. Murdoch looks at me and raises his voice to a growl too. You're getting him off, aren't you? Jim. I blink. Not sure what's making you bring that up. Because he told us, didn't he? You're having sex with him. The ears fly in the back of my head. It's not like my clients tell me what their relationships are the night when they pay me, not Murdoch. So I was right then. Afraid so. Oh my god, wow. Jesus fucking Christ. This art is really, really good. The fact you can actually see Sam in the background, that's also really attention to detail. He's fucking me too. Come again? I won't repeat it. God fucking damn it. At least I have the excuse his client was a stranger to me. Shit. That's your sister's fiance, fuck's sake. Ah, no. She does too. This was all her idea. Oh. Oh no, I see what's happening here. Holy fucking shit, that's gross. I blink again. The fuck you mean, her idea? Jim's not so sure about settling down here. We barely developed the phone lines. Without the mines and the train, we're nothing. You really want to see nothing, you should check out painting. But am I actually defending this shitty city? It's a first for me. Sure, but it's nothing compared to Pueblo. Sure, but run this entire fucking process by me again? Cause I swear I must be having a stroke. She wants to help Jen make it like it better here. He told her swinging is big in the city. Told her that that's the kind of life he wants. So she told him you can do that around here too. And she knows the kinds of things I do for other men. Okay. So what the hell has that to do with him putting his prick in you? Because there's a wedding happening, Sam. If I said no, there might not have been. I think it's her wedding to worry about, not yours. I'll do what I have to do to get paid. But did you even want to do any of this? He's handsome, Sam. That's not what I asked. Since when did you need to know what I'm thinking? Since you started sharing more of it with me. Okay then. I think running out of the gym on occasion is a small concession to pay for my family's security. The hell? My mom recently had a talk with me. She told me that Holly's our family's future in spite of the fact that I'm the only son. They needed a respectable man to inherit the house and take over when they're too old. I'm no expert in respectability, but paying money to get your cock sucked by a man can invite quite the scandal here. Which is why you have to keep that a secret. Because I clearly likely to spill such a thing. I mean from my parents. Just because they know about me doesn't mean they have to know about Jim, alright? So what are you gonna do about your own situation? Keep pretending that it's fine. Because maybe it will be. Which means that you're telling me it isn't. No, Sam. It isn't fine. I'm tired all the goddamn time. She could up and leave at any moment if he's too bored. And if Ollie's heartbroken, she might think I wasn't trying hard enough. My parents seem like they're getting worse every day. They're subject to whatever it is that does things to people here. And I know they think Seamus would have done a better job than me if he had a chance to grow up. I feel sick to my stomach when I look in a mirror. I don't always know who's looking back at me because there's nobody there to lie to or perform for. And when I'm working or when I'm on something or when I have a cock come out of my rear, I don't have to think about that. There's something in you now. He folded his hands on his lap, looking away. And he nodded his head, shaking and squeezing out a few tears. Not a lot. It's just enough to get me through the day. I don't need to know any details. I'm just trying to explain that the only time I get to feel like I'm really me is when my head's between a guy's legs. And I was hoping it was like that for you too. Okay. You shouldn't have assumed any of that knowing the work I do. I wanted to show you that there's ways to do that here without caring about fucking money. But it always goes back to money for you. I needed to know if it would be different if your financial situation changed for the better. But I'm sorry I was wrong. To some extent you weren't. But I understand why you're ashamed. You should be mad. Mad? If somebody told me that their well-being was based on how good I sucked their boyfriend's cock, I would have used teeth. Murdoch snorted. What is wrong with you? Guess you'll probably call it being selfish or some Catholic crock of shit. But then again, it's the kind of thing that reminds me I'd never be in any kind of situation like the one you're in right now. Your family's fucking atrocious. They didn't used to be. You weren't around when they used to be good to me. I used to think my mother was the smartest woman in the world. She used to read to me, and my dad used to build all sorts of things with me. Waterproof boats and tree forts with windows. So did they change? Did you just grow up? I don't know, Sam. These are just memories and I'll miss them. What else do I have? What else do you want? He looks at me. He's trembling, the muscles in his face strain. Then he shuts his eyelids, squeezing them tight. I want to be told that I'm doing a good job. You're doing a good job. He laughs at that. Yappy, shrieking guffaws, which turn into loud sobs. Tears are pouring out of his eyes as he bent over the vest, holding it with straining claws, like he's going to tear it if he adds any more pressure. His mouth opens in a silent scream. Then he stops very suddenly. He clears his face with the back of his sleeve. Then he looks at me, red-eyed but calm. I'm sorry you had to see that. What? No. It's just emotions. Those are just ordinary. What's not is when you just... What? When you just act as if you suddenly don't have them. Like you're shutting them out and start to act completely differently within seconds. Murdoch frowns. You've never had to do that? Not really? No. Especially not for ordinary things, like being sad. I see. I want something else then. Like what? A kiss for free. A dream of you waking up my bed every day. A memory of you holding me so tight for no other reason than you want me. Common fantasy for a sad man to have about a prostitute, is it not? Not sure what to say because that's the truth. Yeah? It's ugly and shameful to what we can't have, isn't it? No. No. The whole point of a dream is to what we don't have, ain't it? I said I can't have, not don't have. I know what you said. I just don't agree. About what? Maybe I can get to know you now that it feels like you're finally letting me. I'm scared. Scared of what? Sometimes wanting to die. And of there being nothing to know. Not even a worthwhile memory to put in a shoebox after I'm gone. I think there's clearly something. Otherwise you wouldn't want me. You really do want me, don't you? I do. So see, there's something. The fox stares at me. He stares at me just like how he stares at the mirrors in this room. And he looks absolutely miserable. Sam? Yeah? If I thought I knew you did something bad, and I was ever scared of you, would you ever be able to tell me the truth about it? What? What is he talking about? I don't know. That's okay. I think I understand. I don't think it matters to me. You don't know what matters to you? What could it possibly be? I think I have a guess. Thanks for watching. I need to. I need to calm down. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.